raced up now. Hits the lead. Aliana's racing home well on the inside. Via Sistina in front from Aliana. Via's got a dig. Via neck in front. Aliana's driving, but Via Sistina goes back to back in the Wing Stakes.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. I've got John Walter here with me in the Gold Coast. It is boiling. Summer is here. How are you?
It is. The last couple of days, isn't it? It's still cold in the dungeon. I've got to open the doors now. It's no good. I've been sort of had them locked up because it's been like a fridge outside, but we're back.
We are back. Nico, how are you down there in Melbourne town?
Yeah, it's definitely not boiling down here. I think we got nearly 20 mil of rain predicted over the next few days, which was should definitely have an impact on the Caulfield meeting. So tread warily there if you think we're going to be on a good four. Sounds like we're going to be on a soft track for Memsie Day, but yeah, not boiling, freezing cold at the moment, but at least the horses are here to warm us up a little bit. Big weekend of racing.
Yeah, exactly. It should be a great kick-off to the spring or official spring, more mainstream interest, which is good. Betting turnover should be up. Speaking of wet tracks, Wallace hooked up, didn't matter. Ominous signs for spring. Move over Gay and Bjorn. Just steamrolled him last Saturday, didn't he? Uncle Chris?
Yeah, he's got such a big arsenal, and it's like even trying to work out where to split him. Even Lazura, he sort of can throw him. He can throw them anywhere, and they're going to be hard to beat. But it's a good place for him to be. It's weird, isn't it? Like, I don't know. He just seems to have depth that grows, whereas the other megalodons don't have it, do they? They sort of more scatterguns. It's weird, but he does something very well, Chris, and that system sort of allows him to just continue to improve, and he gets the rewards.
Slow approach. Nico, quick one. Moonee Valley, anything to take from that meeting, or are you going to bin the lot? I've decided just to bin the lot.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair, to be honest, of what we saw. That didn't seem like a meeting of a whole lot of depth, and the way the track raced, except for the first two races, which were very slow tempos, every winner was pretty much in the first three. So it was a huge advantage to be on speed, and it probably didn't have the quality of, say, this week and the weeks to come. So, had a bit of an off-season feel going in, and I think that's how you should probably treat it going forward.
Last week, tipped a couple of winners. Bakash was a steamer. It was $1.80, but jumped really, really short. Cafe Millennium was a nice saver, especially where the track played. I thought Bagman nailed that one with the Morphettville Park, so his insight was perfect. Savvy Haley was a one-goer by the look of it, Walt, so it was just off the map, and the money just didn't stop for it, so well found there. Just Flying was good up in Brizzy, and then no dice for Aliana, and the world's can't stop talking about Autumn Glow enough, but she's going to be deadly wherever she goes, so it's a guessing game with Uncle Chris too. As Walt said, who knows where he's going to put all these horses, but it'll all fall a certain way, but scary if you're taking futures.
Autumn Glow is the scary one because it could dead set Everest, it could be Epsom, it could be... That's the one that's probably the hardest place for him. Otherwise, the rest he's got to try and split them up, I guess.
I just didn't think Autumn Glow really handled the wet track on the turn, but once she sort of got up and balanced, the last 200 was scintillating.
Yeah, and it's so hard to accelerate on those surfaces. So, like not only what she did, but what the others did from sort of back and inside of that track was a bit weird, but it looked probably uniformed, I guess, and back towards the inside wasn't too bad, but again, sprinting off those low tempos, and Trailwolf was good too. There were just it was good kickoff for the spring, which is really important because it did look like it was going to be diabolical, didn't it? And it worked out pretty well for everyone.
Yeah, it was a cracker, and I think it's going to be a fun spring ahead. Walt's got a big Saturday. He's got a hosted pot with Ladbrokes, our major sponsor, and they've already got 25,000 in the kick. And to join, you just head to the Ladbrokes Mates Mode area and then put in RWatch25 as the code. So make sure you jump on the app, and there's the graphic on the screen now. If you want to play along on Saturday, there's already 25,000 in the pool, so a bit of pressure now. Try and triple it. It's they're always a tricky one, but I think there's a fair bit of meat on the bone looking across the fields for this Saturday. There's deep races, so there'll be plenty of bets and plenty of action. So if you need someone to hold your hand, Walt's the man. He's done one yesterday and scraped out a profit.
Out of trouble. I have got a newfound respect for customer service agents. I've got to say, it's just. If it's not bonus, we're bonus. Any bonus? Bonus. You're like, mate, we don't handle promotions. Please contact Larry's. 10 seconds later, bonus? Oh, my God. Like the patience it must take to do that job day in, day out. They should be on about $12,000 an hour, I reckon. Oh, my God.
I think I like the confines of my little dungeon here. The customer service is a...
Well, I just abused myself. It's pretty good. And I tell you what, the customer service is no good in my dungeon. I promise you, I don't look after myself.
Let's talk about Caulfield this week. So Nico's going to cover that one. As he said, about 20 mil to hit. So expect a slow, soft track. Group 1 Memsie means it's a springboard into spring. I think there's a Heatherly and some other good lead-up races or lead-in races. So definitely a yard day for Nico, and definitely a meeting that you have to do the tapes very, very closely because lots of winners come from this meeting historically. Rosehill's finally got the rub of the green with the weather. It's going to be clear, so they got Domenico and up-and-coming Stakes Day. These are really good kickoff points for races like the Golden Rose, the Caulfield Guineas and so on. And then Eagle Farm is just a meeting, rail half, a metre entire. And yeah, it's got plenty of competitive races, but nothing very shiny there. And our FIFO man, Shane Adair, seem quite well at the moment. They're in the mix, or they're just getting overrun late. So he's in good form, and this week we haven't got him. But let's have a look at his first couple of tips here. It's race 5, so he's not opening his shoulders early. Race 5, number 4, Anthracite, and this horse 6-length winner after a little bit of bad luck on debut. So it'll take some stopping, and it'll have to come off its rating quite significantly, I would have thought, in race 5. So even money may not last. The next race here is Morphettville race 8, number 4, Cash, and this is the $1 million horse that he backed last time, just sort of knocked up, and it might be hard to beat again.
Yeah, Anthracite looks like a horse that's really progressive. Got held up first start and then sort of built through the line last time and gapped a pretty average field, but draws to sort of do similar. I thought the Danger was probably the toppy there with the blinkers on if it could roll more forward, but it's got an inside draw again, same jockey, it's Dark and Confidential. In Cash there, it looks like just going to roll forward and try and bully him last start. Just probably got a little bit tired after working on a fast speed, and any luck, it'll be hard to beat. There's a horse of Stokes, he's in there that looks dangerous. I think it won at Pakenham on debut, but if it doesn't get the chance to see if it's trialled or jumped out, but if it's vulnerable, it looks Cash's race to win now. I agree with the Bagman.
Geez, haven't you changed? You've come a long way.
Well, when
Adelaide,
when they can pick their feet up. When I watch the replay and go, oh my god, ahead between 12 of them, oh my god. But when you actually see horses that accelerate, you're like, wow, this thing's not going to race in Adelaide for much longer. So better get on board while it's here.
Tell you what, it doesn't hurt to have a second string to your bow. Nico, you got Tassie, you do Melbourne and Tassie, and now Walt's got a bit of New South Wales and Adelaide of all places. It's great to see.
I never thought I'd see that, Walt getting stuck into an Adelaide race, but it might suit him well for his pot on Saturday. So if you want to get involved, he's definitely all across it.
We were cheering Celine Gaudray last week. That was a new one for me too.
Didn't she? She rode like a woman possessed. She hasn't got much to beat.
I was watching her on it, and I'm like, where's she going on this? I'm like, and then it would just travel. I don't think she even touched it. It went like a motor car, old Cafe Millennium, but she can definitely get him to travel, can't she?
Nico?
Yeah, she ended up riding a treble on the card, so she might have found her sweet spot, just like Walt, Adelaide.
It's a good place, easy pickings. Get over there, Celine.
Caulfield, wet deck, fence to fall apart. Nico, how are you going to set up?
Yeah, it's a tough card, I think. And you got a lot of horses that are first up as well. So, excuse me, you have to sort of treat a few of them with a bit of caution throughout the day. And I do think the fence may fall away throughout the meeting. So there's a couple of horses throughout the day that don't really have a lot of exposure to wet ground. So that's going to make it tricky as well. So it's a real kickoff point. It is the start of the spring, the Memsie day. I wouldn't be sort of looking to bet up too much on this program. There looks a few horses that are just there for a kickoff point. So I would say of what we're currently dealing with, we're going to be on a soft track no matter what. It's just if we're on like a soft 7, maybe even a heavy 8, if the rain really fell on race day and then they copped all the rain in the lead up, which was probably unlikely given the bomb is wrong more than we are. But yeah, if they did cop that, it'd probably be close to an 8. But I did the form for about a soft 6. That's probably where I sort of landed.
Looks like most of the weather's going to hit before midday, so hopefully that's the case. Race 4 is the first one we're going to have a look at. It's a 2,000 metre race. It's remembering Michaela Claridge. It's a handicap. And Revelare is the favourite here for Ryan Hurdle, $4. New Look, $7. Middle Earth, $8.50. Kinesiology, $9.50. Forgot You, $11. Berkeley Square, $12. More Mona, $12. And you got Cadmus, $13. Basilina, $16. Smokin' Romans, Banker's Choice and Charterhouse sort of rounding out the rough chances. Revelare, Nico, you like the kickoff point. Started very, very short. There he is in the red with the racing checkers sort of back in the ruck.
Yeah, it was easy to be around this day at a mile, but I thought he didn't really get around the Caulfield bend all that well. He's pretty soft on him, the rider. Like, he hasn't really asked him to do a whole lot here. He is third fastest last 200 metres of this race. I think this race We'll have quite a bit of sort of form lines to come out of it. Golden Path, he's going to be hard to beat in the Heatherly, 2-dime Discreet. Kings Valley, you can sort of tile that form in. He smashed Kings Valley last campaign. So I think just getting to 2,000 metres, fitter here, having that run around Caulfield. Most of his runs have been at Sandown and Flemington, where it's been big open tracks. And just think for having that start there at Caulfield, he's going to be much better off. Out to 2,000, this is a strong race. This probably isn't too dissimilar to what he's going to see in, say, like a Naturalism or Foundation Cup, whatever they call it now. There's a lot of horses here that are sort of first up, building their way through the campaign. I thought he could probably get midfield, one off, and out to 2,000. He should be really able to show what he's got. I just expect him to improve rapidly off that run. I did hear the trainer this morning on radio saying they are worried if it's real wet. So probably treat that with a bit of caution, but it's early in the day. If we're on a 5 or a 6, I'd be sort of pretty happy to back him in that he's got a bit more class than a few of these runners, especially with the weight he has. But if we're on a 7 or an 8, you're probably just looking to leave him alone. But conditions dependent. They've got him on a Melbourne Cup path. They've got to get his rating up to get into some of these bigger races. So I would assume he's not that far away. And just with that run there last start, it should give him a lot of benefit for Saturday.
I agree with you, Nico. I think 6 or a 5, Revelara is the horse. But then as soon as it starts to get very wet, I'm going to go back to my old mate, Berkeley Square, who's already got that 2,000 metre run under the belt. He's 4th up, and he's just got an outboard motor. And Jay Laquette,
it was just a bit of a BT last start for him, wasn't he? He went back and just was never in the race. So I would have him second pick as well. I think if it is wet, he really comes into calculations.
Outstanding, holding hands. That's how I like it, Nico. Walt?
Oh, I spent too long on this. The problem is there's nothing set up to win, isn't there? Even including Revelare, including anything. So that's what drives me mad. But conditions are interesting. Kinesiology went really well. First up in Sydney. Didn't know what to make of New Look and a lot of these horses. I know even Middle Earth went like a rocket, didn't offer slow speed. I'm surprised they didn't kick it off at 1,400 a mile the way it went first up last time and then struggled as soon as they went quick. So again, that stable does my head in. I think I'll sit on the fence here.
I thought with Middle Earth, I thought he might be a big track horse. What do you think, Nico?
Yeah, he's that win first up was at Flemington in the Australian Cup prelude. Was slow, then he copped the complete opposite in the Australian Cup, and prior to Jenny went out a million miles an hour. So forgive that. I think he's on a Melbourne Cup path, and I would say that's similar for a lot of horses in this race. Kinesiology is probably another one. Interpretation, Brevolare, even sort of Momona, I would assume they're trying to look to get him into races like that. So there's a few that probably don't have a stack of intent here. First up, Basilina, she's already got a golden ticket into the Cup. So it's a really strong 2,000 metre open. You could probably put this as a Group 3 and no one would even notice. But a few of these are just sort of working their way into their campaign, whereas Revolare, he's got to start winning races if they want to run him in those big ones, because he's just going to get belted out of even the lead-up races.
100%. All right, so Revelare, a favourite that we're happy to be with, and then Berkeley Square if the heavens open. So big weather watch, and it will be all leading into the card, because it's going to be critical, those small changes in the track conditions. Race 9 is a Group 1 Memsie. It's the feature, and this is an absolute belter. Another wheel, $3.90. Treasure the Moment, $4.80. Antino, $5.50. Fangirl, $5.50. Mr. Brightside, $6.50. Tom Kitten, $8. Hit a Shock, $17. And Buckaroo, $31 at Ladbrokes. And it's the Jump Out Cup, really. There's so many horses first up here. The first one, this is Mr. Brightside. Nico, talk us through this.
This is plain work for a borderline champion. Mr. Brightside, he's in the white colours here. I think he has jumped out sharper coming into his previous campaigns. He's shaken up here. His first jump out, he ran 4th or 6th behind Evaporate. He's coming back from Hong Kong, where he was probably putting his career worst performance. So there's a little bit against him on Saturday, and I think it's really going to be it would be a fantastic training performance if they can get him to win first up. Their huge advantage on Saturday, if the rain does come and we're on a soft 7, well, he's probably the horse that's best suited under those conditions. So it's going to be a little bit sort of interesting how he goes this spring. I think Saturday, if the rain comes, he's really suited. If it was a good fall, I'd completely pen him off the hour. He's just sort of working in, but the wet track brings him right back into play, I would have thought. Around $7, I think that price is probably fair.
And this is Antino, Nico. He's back on the fence in the black.
Yeah, this is a hot jump out. There was plenty of sharp horses in here, and it's a bit of a key form reference for Saturday. He's only had one jump out that I could find. And I was sort of around Antino. We saw his best at 1,800, 2,000 last campaign. high pressure races. I don't know if he's going to find that here. He was well beaten in the Memsie last year. He was well beaten in the all-aged. And he just doesn't, for my eye, look like he's really cranked up to win this race first up. So that'd be my queries there. Here's Fangirl with Vauban, Via Sistina just in front of her. This is typical sort of Fangirl trial, just getting to the line, not asked to do a whole lot. She's probably in the opposite boat of Mr. Brightside. If we're on a 7 or 8, that sort of hurts her chances. And if the track's better than that, well, she's probably nearly top pick. So it's a very conditions-dependent race. I think Fangirl probably gets one of the runs of the race from barrier number 5, and she's probably just in that stalking role. Her form in Melbourne's great. She probably should have gone close to winning the Cox Plate that year. So it's just the track conditions that sort of come up on the day. I thought Another Will is probably the horse here. He maps really well. He won the CF4 first up last campaign, beating Mr. Brightside. I sort of feel he may be most effective at these 14 to 1600 metre trips. Good map, good trials. I can definitely see why he's favourite. I was surprised Treasure of the Moment's come up so short. I thought there might be a few sort of looking to potentially be around her, but they're sort of happy to go with her in the early betting. So she'll get a nice run, and sort of looking at how she's returned, she looks like she's going really well at the jump outs leading in. And this is her and Tom Kitten, Tropicus. So Tom Kitten in the blue, the Godolphin blue, was just given a very quiet hit out in this. His jump out prior was pretty slick work. Treasure of the Moment just in second here and looming up to the leader, and very nice work. Looks like she's come back in terrific order. It's a matter of her class. She's probably struck one of the hotter Memsies in recent times. So there's a bit of a comprehensive look. Top pick Another Will. At this stage, I'm probably not having a bet in the race, but come the yard, that could change. But if I was sort of from a tipping point of view, I'd be Another Will on top from probably Tom Kitten.
Yeah, I don't really like this race either from a betting perspective. I think the market looks too close for me, or too right. And free bet, I'd probably back Antino if it gets to that 6, 7 or 8, and the wetter it got. I think the more the back markers could come into it, and Antino with that Brisbane residual fitness, if he's gonna start to aim up at Cox Plates, he needs to be putting a field like this away.
Yeah, pattern and weather is important, isn't it? I thought Tom Kitten and Treasure of the Moment were the two I wanted to find. But it's just so dependent on how that rail's playing. But just the way that the race looks to be run, Here to Shock should lead comfortably. Treasure of the Moment, I'd love to see it pop off and jump straight outside it if Mr. Brightside doesn't get outside the leader quickly. Either way, it just gets a nice ride. I'd love to jump out. She's just such a good horse. Obviously, the first time she tackles weight for age, but wow, she's just going to get such a nice run. And yeah, I think Tom Kitten's, I think they're going to have him well and truly ready to go. He probably should have beaten Mr. Brightside first up last time in, and I think he's going to be as forward as any horse in this race. Whereas Antino's he's a nightmare, isn't he? And I actually didn't think Another Will trialled that well up at the Gosford. I thought it was only steady. So Fangirl won't like the wet. Yeah, I'm happy to be with Treasure of the Moment and Tom Kitten.
Okay. What about if Another Will's just out in front and Tom Kitten needs a bit of traffic and the little whistle blows from Benny? Little payback.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Wouldn't that be lovely? Still nothing on that, is there? Deathly
silent.
I see Shaggy's going around he's not on it this time, Ben. He didn't go to Sydney. I thought he might come up to Sydney to ride it. It was a bit unlucky last start, but maybe he didn't want to walk the track at Rosehill.
All right, going to be fascinating. Group 1 Memsie. So Another Will, Tom Kitten, Treasure of the Moment, and a bit of Antino. So nothing outside the square from us, boys. Captain Obvious for all of us. And Fangirl is the big, I guess, question mark and query over that deteriorating track. Race 10 is the next one. It's a benchmark 100 over 1,400 metres. And Sepples is the favourite here at $4. Our old mate Warney, $5. Home Rule 5. Plymouth, $10. Miss Aria, 11. Shock 'em over, 13. Green Fly, 15. Deacon, 20. And that rounds out the major chances. Cot Atlantique is 20, and then Chawton Lade 26, Windstorm 26, and See What I See's back from the Abyss at $27. Can have a look at Sepples, CS Hayes win. Nico, put the writing on the wall here. Good win in the Cliff Brown colours.
Yeah, this was a huge win, and it was on a soft 7 as well. So come race 10, he could be dealing with a very similar situation to what he saw here. He really just seemed to extend in the ground. This was a big rating as well. He went into the Australian Guineas favourite off this, I would assume, just off the rating he put down. If he can improve a length and a half, he is borderline sort of Group 1 this time in. And looking at how he's jumped out coming into this campaign, I think you can definitely make the case that he potentially has. Here he is in the white and black. The outside runner, the horse in the Yulon colours is Vinrock, so you've got to take that into account. His first jump out was maybe nearly even better than this piece of work. He looks to be absolutely flying. He wasn't all that far off Treasure at the moment, and sort of Tom Kitten in his first hit out. So I just think the horse is airborne. He missed the run in the Lawrence due to a mishap behind the barriers, so he did go to the races. He had that experience. That probably helps him in terms of this run, take a bit of that freshness away. Probably would have dropped a bit of weight from that. The jump out since then. I think he's the horse they're going to have their aim sort of as the Rupert Clark and then the Toorak. And looking at the Rupert Clark ratings from last year, I went a bit forensic and sort of deep dived into this horse, and he would only have to improve a length to sort of run to the mark that Komochi did last year. And I think everything's suggesting that he probably has. So this race usually can throw out a horse that sort of really propels its way into the spring. It's usually a good springboard. So I was happy to be with him. I think $4 is pretty fair. The horse is airborne. He just could be better than these. So there's a few horses that at their best would be right in this. I'm a bit scared of Plymouth. I think he's jumped out really well coming to this campaign. First campaign for Lindsay Park. He's always had a lot of talent. I wouldn't be surprised if they really got the best out of him. Deacon, he's high in the betting for the Melbourne Cup. He looks like he's just going to have a kick-off run here, but I'll be interested to see how he goes. But Warnie's a bit of a myth for mine. He just does too much wrong in his races. I just don't know the strength of his form either in those Queensland races. So Sepples at $4, I thought you'd probably have to take a bit shorter. So I was pretty happy to play it around that $4 mark, and just it's probably a bit of a case of all races on Saturday. Just hope he's a bit better than him, and I think he is.
I think he's going to be in the right spot, and I just put him and a horse like Warnie together, and I don't like that Warnie has to give him 4 kilos, and I think Warnie's a massive query, 1,400 metres. I had in my notes to ask you where you thought Plymouth would end up. I thought he could be the big improver, so he'd be in the right spot also, off fence. And then, outside of that, Shokamova, Côte Atlantique. There's it's got a bit of a tail about it, this race, outside Sepples, but I thought he was just the obvious way to play it. And it just looks like a little bit stronger and toughened up and grown a little bit, Sepples.
Oh, yeah, it's already come in. $7 or $8 home rule, a huge price to me. Inside draw's no good for it. Got back to the outside draw last start, dominating, went quick in front, kept going, which I like when you're leading into these races where a lot of horses are vulnerable and fresh, and especially if it's a bit wet and they're sort of, the last 200, they struggle to run down horses that sort of get a loose lead, which is what it looks like it'll get here, home rule. So, I think it'll run well. And I thought Plymouth was far and away the scary horse. No knock on Sepples at all. Just the only worry for me was 1,400 first up, especially if it's wet. I think sort of that's near its max distance for me. I think 1,400 probably, if it was 12, I'd be keener on Sepples. Yeah, it's fine. Like $4 is fair. I actually probably thought it'd be a little bit shorter, honestly, and drift. But I was probably more interested in Home Rule and Plymouth in this race. Plymouth especially.
What do you think about that? The Castle on High form, Nico, for this?
This is a race where they generally run fast time. Like this race every year runs a faster time than the Memsie. So there's generally a horse that sets up the speed and can sort of hold on, and that definitely is Home Rule. The form doesn't look all that strong, but he's so suited in wet ground. He's flying at 1,400 metres Caulfield. He is the one they're going to have to come and get. He doesn't have the class of a few other runners here, but he has a real advantage being fit and leading. So I couldn't really say no there, to be honest, because he's going to be the one they've got to come and get, which is usually a good scenario for this race.
Nico, your yard this Saturday at Caulfield?
Yep, I'll be out there. So keen for Memsie Day. Got a bit of announcement around that on Friday as well. So stay tuned there. But keen to get out there. It's going to be a super day. Plenty of horses first up off the trials, and sort of hoping to sink the boots into a few. So keen as.
Got me excited as well. So if you want Nico's stuff 3 to 5 minutes before the jump, and you get a staking plan with that. So it is vital information, especially early in the spring, because he can see what sort of condition they're in and give you that final press and final little bit of confidence. Walt, Rosehill, how are you setting up for Rosehill? Now it's a soft 6 or 7 at the moment and all sunshine.
We've got the reverse whinge now. Now we've got the potential for a dry track. So all of this 77,000 weeks in a row of wet track. Now we've got to try and work out, who's going to improve 7,000 lengths coming on Saturday, which is always fun. But I think 3 metre row, what it should be somewhere around the 5 to 6 range, 4, 5, 6. It might get back to a 4 if they're getting weather like we are. regardless, it should play pretty fair. The 3 metre rail's about as fair as it gets at Rosehill, so setting up pretty fair.
All right, we're going to play in a couple of quaddie leagues here. So race 7 is the first one. The Maryland's RSL benchmark 78 over 1,100 metres. Polygot is the favourite, $3.10 at Ladbrokes, $3.20 without parallel, $6 Rosalind Star, 13 Dance to the Boom, Catch the Glory 15, Cosman over 16, Shervington 17, and there he is, Shaggy at $17. Rosalind Star is the first horse we're going to have a look at. It's in the Finmore colours. It's in the red with the white cap, just sort of rolling in a little bit, but just gets nabbed late.
Yeah, I think it was like 450 days off here and literally sat 3-4 wide the whole way, even got a little bit keen, if anything. And that's Polyglot, who had the absolute dream on its back and really struggled to get past it. So, yeah, it was a weird race. Poker Star is back there. Probably looked a bit unlucky, but I thought, clearly Rosalind Star was the best run in the race considering the break. And the only thing I'd be concerned of is that, trying to back that up 2 weeks later. But draws ideally on Saturday to be able to take a sit this time, I think.
And here's the next one, Dance to the Boom in the Masara black and white check.
So, this horse looked like an absolute world beater first prep, and then last prep you just got to put a line through it, 1 run, straight back out. First trial back, I think it sat up on speed and sort of won quite well, and then this time sort of taking a sit. Doesn't look, that's Rosalind Star actually directly inside it, who's come out and run well. So it doesn't look great, but see her through the line. She does take a bit of winding up, and I think she's a horse with a bit of depth. So I'm not expecting her to trial, super flashy. So she draws to take a lovely little sit in there. We get Schumacher, which is a complete nutter punish. But I think the horse is very talented, and you're getting sort of $10 plus. I was surprised to see Rosalind Star $6. I thought it'd be $3, and you'd be like, oh, second up $3, not keen to sort of play. But then you see Polyglot's favourite without parallel coming out of a highway.
Dual nomination too, without parallel. Might go up to Eagle Farm, which
praying
is
it goes around here.
Yep.
I'm not saying it can't win, but just desperate to take it on. Like I said, Shaggy's in the race. He'll probably take it on. You've got quite a bit of speed, sort of drawn wide-ish, sort of around that Polyglot. Confess Our Dreams has got an apprentice on. There should be good pressure here, and just that these 2 horses, Rosalind Star and Dance the Boom, are drawn so well that they're going to have options, even if the speed doesn't come. They're going to be right there anyway. So Dance of the Boom is a 50-50 jumping horse, so hopefully it does jump. But I just thought they were extreme value standouts, as in just stuck out. I'm not saying they're the greatest overlay in history, but Polyglot's going to need a great ride and improve. And without parallels, just going from it's going from Aldi to a 5-star restaurant. Really, it's a big upgrade in class for me. So I'd be happy to risk it if it beats me too good. The other horse there's probably worth noting, Shervington. It's just I actually really liked its winner. The horse that it beat Johnny got beat yesterday midweek and was a little bit unlucky, but just a really solid first up win at Wyong there, where it sort of slingshot off the bend and. It's got a decent little record. It's a big price here. I think it's like 12, 14, something like that.
$17.
Yeah, so I wouldn't want to let it get under my guard. The rest of them are all pretty exposed. So I think it's a decent betting race for those 2. Just hoping Rosalind Star doesn't have a hangover and Dance the Boom. Bjorn usually has them ready to go, and hopefully Schumacher's got had a bowl of ramen before she kicks off. She's a celebrity Japanese rider and she's ready to rumble.
The only other horse I thought might be an improver back to a dry track was Catch the Glory with the hippo on it.
Yeah, I just think he's one of those horses that needs everything to go his way. I agree too, back on dry, he would need to improve because he had that perfect run last time. He's just sort of he's going to win races, but it's when everything goes his way. Whereas, in this race it could. It sets up well for him, but I think he's going to need a few favours. But he's always especially Jason Coyle horse, you normally get a price, So I'm not knocking it, that's for sure. You'll probably get, $10, $12, $15. If not now, you'll get it come race time.
All right. Sounds like you got a pretty good handle on the race regardless. I love that price of Rosalind Star. So definitely back both at the prices. So that's 3 Rosalind Star and number 8 Dance to the Boom for Uncle Bjorn. Rosehill, race 8. I'll get Nico's thoughts on this one because it's the San Domenico. It's the Smithfield RSL. Group 3, 1,100 metres. Raging Force is $2.35. Favourite at Ladbrokes. Woderton is $3. King of Pop, $7.50. Rivellino, My Love Child, $8.50. Devil Knight, $9. Baywatch, $13. Nashville Jack, $46. And then you got Tom Vegas, $1.51. Let's have a look at a couple of trials here, and I think this is Bonita Queen out in front, and the second horse in the blue with the white sleeves is King of Pop, and he just starts to take a lot of ground off this mare or filly.
I like to see what they do. He definitely gets a squeeze, but as soon as you get a squeeze about here-ish, you just see him change leg and just let rip. So, very fast horse in front. I'm not concerned that it sort of failed a bit. I think it pulled up lame anyway, but just, like you see him there just lengthen, and horses down the outside are sort of ridden out too. He's a very push-button horse, King of the Pop.
This is Rivellino, and he's third here. So Briassa's the grey out in front. So it's a pretty good reference. I think it's Airman in the Chautauqua colours, but the red with the green sleeves down the outside is Rivellino. And
that's the key, I think. You've nailed. Like, this is as good as it gets, really, from sprinting perspective. And sitting wide in these Canterbury trials and running on is not easy either. So, you would have to say, well, he's not been let go, the leader, but he's trialled every bit as good as a horse like Briassa there, you'd say, who's a pretty smart trialer. So he's never been one of mine. I think he's your poster child, isn't he, Rivellino?
Yeah, I love it. I just kept backing him and backing him. I think the more he matures, the better he'll be. I'm just jumping into my black book here, and I guess he's just super professional. I just love the way he does everything that the jockey asks him to do.
He's backing inside. This is the problem with this race. It's like a mini Memsie, and I don't mean it from a class perspective. Is 7 of the 9 are first up. 56 days between runs. The favourite, Raging Force. We haven't even talked about him. He went bang bang and then put away for this, so he's got residual fitness. Trialled up okay. I think it was on the poly. Trialled fine. Just $2.40, and we're talking pretty classy horses here, like Devil Knight, Rivellino, Baywhack even was not ready, but he ran in all the big races. King of Pop was looked super in its first prep. Woderton was $2.40 favourite for the slipper or something at one point. Even Memo, like these are it's. If he's $5, it'd be all right. Well, I think he's just too short. So I just went looking without no super confidence here. But Rivellino's going to be backing inside, but it's going to be very strong late, I think. And as long as that fence is no good, which it shouldn't, it should be fine. He'll be strong. And King of Pop, I was in love with before the barrier draw came out, and I just don't know. I'd have to have a little whisper in the ear of the stable to find out which way they're going to go, because if they push forward, I think it probably gets outside Raging Force, and it's very dangerous. But if they go back, it's going to be a big task. Because to me, it seems like a horse that's got a really sharp 200-metre sprint that it can use from on speed and sort of put a race away. But I don't know if it's got a 400-metre sustained run from back in the field to run down this class of horse. So, if you hear anything about tactics, King of Pop, if they go forward, I think that's, at least intend to be positive, and just sort of, if they want to go too fast and run away from you, let them go. But and then Rivellino's the late bloomer. But there's some scary horse. Devil Knight's a dual acceptor, isn't it? I couldn't work out where it was going. At least only had it in 2 states this week. The old Hawkses, they didn't do the 3-state treble with the Devil Knight like they did with that horse a couple of weeks ago. But it's a great race. This is a beauty, and we just got to hope. I'm just hoping they all jump out of their skin, because this is the hope of the nation for our sprinting ranks going forward. These are the 3-year-old sprinters that we need to see take the next step, and there's not much left in the tank if these ones all go pop.
It was funny, that horse that you're talking about, what was it called? The Blade. I think Tyler Schiller slaughtered anyway. So it just goes to show they've got all the best laid plans. So hard to get the horse in the right race.
How did he slaughter it?
And then you put Schiller on it and it's slaughtered.
Negative tactics.
Eh?
Yeah, and just negative out of the gates on it. Yeah.
Like the good horse yesterday, Trapdoor. 3 wide.
That was a bit unlucky. That was a very good effort. That was just like, actually the horse outside him was the one that I think they all dragged back and handed the race to the leaders, didn't they? And then it nearly looked an OG for the leader, and he didn't finish the course. It was a weird race, but Trapdoor was huge.
My black book notes say that 1,400 metres plus as his pet distance, Rivellino. So that's my only concern, if he's going to be ridden a bit dead and back on in the inside. So, I like the angle with King of Pop. These 1,100, he looks like the 1,100 metre specialist out of the whole field, but it's a scary race. Nico, you got a pretty decent handle on these colts?
Yeah, it's a race where you go, Woden's beating the neck in a slipper. Devil Knights won a Blue Diamond, and they're not even really getting talked about that much. So I think that shows where those 2-year-olds are at. There does seem a few that could really improve and potentially jump them. That horse is Raging Force. I think he's so short in early betting because of the rating he put down last start. Whether you want to believe it's real or not, but that is clearly the best performance from some of these 2- and 3-year-olds sort of the season. So he looks a horse that's just going to continue to sort of get better. Whether he's fully cranked up for this first up, it is a similar situation to a lot of races on Saturday. Do you want to find out at 2:30? I think the Robots they might just completely back in that last start rating and happy to keep him short, which may present some opportunities elsewhere. But that's definitely why he's the raging favourite right now. I thought Baywalk's an interesting runner. I think all these Godolphin horses are intriguing, given they're out of the cotton wool a little bit. He's trialled really well. The record for him down here in Victoria, I saw a stat the other day, they're going at nearly 50% for their new stables, or the Blue Jackets. I don't know if it's the same in Sydney, but he always seemed a horse that had a fair bit of talent, won a big race as a 2-year-old. So, yeah, I thought his trial was really good. He doesn't seem to get any favours here. So it is a race that I'll be keen to get stuck in from a review point of view, probably on Monday, but it probably won't be a race I'm betting into.
How are you coping with that, Nico? You're a big Blue Jacket man, and like, are you dabbling in all that action?
Once Animo left, my blue love was probably over. That was probably the end of our relationship. But yeah, like the runners down here, like Tom Kitten seems like he's going to be ready to fire first up. We've had a stack of them that have come out and just won for new trainers. So that the main thing probably is the intent. And there seems like there's intent from those trainers to get a winner for the blue colours. But it is intriguing to sort of see if any of them can improve or go backwards. So yeah, a horse like Polyglot's probably in a similar boat if they're going to get any more out of him, or that's just his level. So I'm sort of just watching a few of the blues at the moment, see if they get anything more out of them.
3 trials. So it's just that, like, it signals intent, doesn't it? 3 trials for Baywak is, and that's what they all seem to siding on the caution. They'll give it one more trial or one more gallop and make sure it's ready to go. They don't want to get shown up early.
Jeez, he would be doing everything he can to get it sweet with Godolphin, just so the gravy train keeps coming and just giving him something to think about. Right, where am I going to go? Bang.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And it's interesting the way they've dispersed them amongst, it's I don't
how
know,
they've picked.
Yeah, it's interesting. But this horse will it apparently is going very well. It's the horse I'd love to see. It and King of Pop I'd love to see go forward both from out there and chance their arm, just so that King of Pop either gets there or gets the 1-1. That'd be ideal, wouldn't it?
Too good. All right, racingwatch.com.au if you want some of John's stuff, and he's also doing the Mates Mode pot, so make sure you head to Ladbrokes section. RWatch25 is the code there, so you can bet with him $50, get you a look, and you just split the pot at the end of the day. So plenty of action, and he's got a drier track up in Sydney, so I think he's going to be a lot more dangerous compared to a couple of these swamps that he's been playing on lately, and still managing to keep his shirt. Speaking of glorious weather, we'll go up to Eagle Farm. As I said earlier, rail is half a metre the entire. I'm playing in a couple of these distance races, so the 1800 and the 1600 metre race is for me, but I think they might just edge off, and I'm just wary a couple of these horses reversing form on the dry ground. And race 3 is the first one we're going to have a look at. It's a Southern Pacific Sands handicap. This is probably the least confident out of the 2 races for me, but Moonsweep is the horse at $4.80 that I think's an out-and-out wet tracker. Zeno $6.50, Cavalryman $7, Ready for the Trip $7, and then you've got Aolani $8, Astrostar $8.50, and then El Pensador $9.50, Rapid Cheval at $10. And the horse I like here is Zeno. He's just in behind them with the white sleeves, just back onto the fence, and the pink and the blue stripes. And I only really get sort of 250 metres to sort of stoke up here, and this is first up, and I just like the horse. He can take a position. He's got a mid-draw. He's got Ben Thompson. D. Van Dyke is perfect with these lightly raced stayers. He did a really good job in the summer series up in Queensland in the Grand Prix and those sort of races against much better horses than these. And I think the dry track stepped to 1800. I wish I had seen the $15. It was $15 early, now into $6.50. But I thought he was the map horse as well. He can sit, he can lead, or he can just sit second pair, and he'll take some running down here. Looks a really progressive runner, and Ans Jones went really slow on him, I think, in his last preparation, and he just got overrun by a couple of more classy animals. The other horse that I think is a big danger here is Cavalryman, and this is in the Dracaena race, and it's the grey here. I thought it just raced a little bit fresh last time, and he might have been not quite fit enough. He's sort of like a drunken sailor in the straight there, the grey with the red. And the big query with this horse is the barrier's just against it. So I'm not sure what Emily Lang's going to do from barrier 14. Is it going to sit midfield? Is it going to try and follow Wowzino across? Or are they going to ride it cold and have one sort of long sustained run? But I thought it was dangerous. I thought it was somewhat of a danger to free carry in the next race we'll preview. But I thought it could definitely peak third up. But Moonsweeper, I'm not sure about what you think about the Sydney form with the favourite here, but I've sort of marked him as a sort of a soft 7, heavy sort of 8 type horse, and just at $5, I sort of went looking for a different form line. Like he's sort of only just thereabouts. He's struggling to put something away here, and yeah, the 1800 metres on the this could get to like a good 3. This could be an out and out road, and I was willing to take a risk on that horse.
Yeah, I found the same 2 horses. I hated the race with a passion, but if they roll forward, the only thing Cavalry Man loses Ben Thompson and gets Emily, which I don't think's a great thing. So that would have to give the edge to Wowzino for me. The price was just, that's a bit of a head scratcher, that one. I think they've had a mare there with the $15, but $7.50 looks very fair. Definitely couldn't take shorter Cavalry Man than Wowzino. Just got a bit more in its favour this time. But if she gets across with your horse, I think, they found the right 2. It's just it's a touchy race and a tricky race. Definitely want to be playing that sort of $7 or $8 into the market for sure.
Race 5 is the next one. It's a Spring Carnival book now, Class 6 over 1,600, and this looks like the banker for the day. Free carry at $2. Last Chance Saloon $5.50. Cunnamulla Fella $6. Battleton $9. Sporting Chance $9.50. Walsh Bay $11. Chase and Artie $20, and then Golf of Tommy $41. The horse here we like, the favourite Free Carry, is going to get total control here. This is a 1,400 metre race, but just love the way he sort of poked a hole in him. I think you got Sultry Siren into second there. And I think Golan has finally worked this horse out. And second up to 1,600 metres, he's facing horses like Battleton, who we sort of flagged and signalled that doesn't run a strong 1,600 metres. I don't think he was loving the tempo and was a little bit ill-mattered last start. Cunnamulla Fella had his birthday last start, had absolutely everything in his favour and just won. And again, this is going to be a different scenario. It's going to be dry ground this time. And Sporting Chance, I backed it last start at Ipswich, and it had everything in its favour and still got overrun by maybe a progressive horse in Soul of Spain from the Waller Yard. But it's the likely scenario that if something bobs up from nowhere, it could be Sporting Chance. But I think Free Carry's just got a class edge. Like, he's going to have to come off severely and do a lot wrong. But if Emily rates this horse correctly, he might just take off at the 600, and it could be a margin job, I think, here.
350, they went up this horse. It, again, just wish it had a senior rider just because it plays around a lot, and I think it's got a lot more in the tank. So, like, when they challenge it, the problem, like, it hasn't been really asked to do a lot there. It just literally played with the field. So, and the only danger I could find was the thing that's flying it to Toowoomba, and I don't know how that form matches up here, but that Last Chance Saloon is dead set airborne. Gate 1, if it sort of landed on the back of Free Carry, it could be a little bit dangerous. It's got to run a mile.
Big jumping class.
The worst thing that she can do is go too slow on this horse. And if it just had a senior rider that you knew was going to set up an even tempo, I think it would be just very, very difficult to beat, but it still will be. But I think it's just so well placed, and I think you're right. Like, most of these horses have had dream runs in their setups, where in this horse just looks like it's got much more in the tank.
Yep. Yeah, the big class rate jump was enough to put me off Last Chance Saloon. And I just love when Golan is 3 to 4 weeks between runners. He does that better than anyone up at Eagle Farm. Or up in Brisbane. He's just so patient. He just finds the perfect race. So I think this Class 6 is absolutely perfect. Him with 57.5, getting the 2.5 off the toppy in Cunnamulla Fella. All right, that's a wrap from us. Nico, I've sort of left you out in the cold there, but high level of confidence. And when's this big announcement going to happen for this for your yard stuff? When can everyone set their clock for? Friday at what time, or Saturday morning at what time?
Oh, I'm not too sure, to be honest. Not really my domain announcing anything like that. But
wow.
Yeah, it's sort of should be good. Friday I think is going to be a bit more information there, and then it's really looking forward to Saturday. It's going to be a big day out there at Caulfield, and even watching a few of the other races like Rosehill, the San Domenico, and even the up and coming looks a race where there could potentially be a few nice horses going forward. So we got a bit of a taste of the spring a couple of weeks back, but I think it's really here now, especially in Melbourne.
And also loving the racing show stuff. They're starting to preview some of the futures, and we're retweeting them from the Little Birdie handle as well. So if you want to talk about the Everest or want some insight for Caulfield Melbourne Cup, Nico and Trevor doing a great job.
Are those
with,
books
with
for
that.
sale in the front there or what?
What's that?
You got all the row of books there. Are they for sale or what? What's the go there with the row
Yeah,
of books?
we probably got enough. They're probably worth a bit over the time. That's what happens when Mum buys you a racing book every year for Christmas. You got to put them to use somehow. So they're part of the set.
Yeah, I want to steal a couple of them. Yeah,
My old girl buys me cookbooks, so she must think I'm a bad cook.
Mine would never know because I don't even attempt.
Dear. All right, looking forward to the big news there. But big thanks to Ladbrokes. Make sure you join Walt's pot. I'll be into that, and then punting form as well. Always do a good job with the data and the form. But big thanks from us, and we'll see you next week. Can't wait to see what happens for Memsie and San Domenico Day. We'll see you next week.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.